Hey guys, welcome to Juvo Tutorials. In this video, we're going to learn how to manage a storefront with the Store Manager. As a simple example, the store in this video is going to be set up like an office supply store, but the methods we use to change our items are going to work for any type of store. So first, we're going to look at the front end of the website and get an understanding of the layout. And as we scroll down, you'll notice the category header, and below it are all the categories of the items in our store. And if we click on a category, we'll see all the items within it. So your website might have different layout for the categories and the items, but the basic elements are typically the same. So now we're going to go over to the Content Manager and cover how to create these categories and items. And in the Store Manager, we have 4 basic tabs that we use to edit most things, and they are Categories, Items, Options, and Orders. And your individual websites may have a couple other tabs, but these are the basic elements that are the same across the board. So first we'll go into Categories, and you'll see that these categories are all the same categories that correspond to the ones on the front end of the website here. And creating a category is very simple. We just create the new category button and we'll give it a name. And save it. And now you'll see it at the bottom of this list. And when we go to the front end and refresh, and if we scroll down, we'll see new category here. And you can see this little icon there, and that means that we haven't given the category a picture. So now we'll go back and give it a picture. So we'll just click on our category and go to Add Image here. And I'm just going to give it a random picture. And first, before we select it, we have to crop some part of that image and then press save. And now I'll refresh. And we can see that it now has an image. So now that we know how to create a category, we're going to go over how to add items into categories. So first we're going to go to the Items tab and click on the Create New Item button. And we can give the item a title here. And since we already have a shirts category over here, I'm going to make an item for short sleeve t-shirts. And we'll select the category that it belongs to. And on a side note, if your item belongs to multiple categories, you can select multiple boxes and just the item will still come up in each individual category. Now we'll give it an image. And we crop that image just the same way as we would in a category. And press save. So the first thing we'll do here is give our item a price in dollars and a shipping price. And just below pricing and shipping, we'll see fields and options. So fields are typically more catered towards individual sites, and they'll vary across the board. Here you'll see assembly cost, and this is an example of something that a furniture store might use, because if you order something that's really large, they might need to assemble it, and this gives you an option to create values for that. And different sites will have different fields here, but that's where they'll be. And over on the right hand side we have options. Options are typically more catered towards individual items. So say for example, we just created an item for short sleeve shirts, and the picture shows multiple colors here. And rather than create an individual item for each color, we can create an option for our buyers to select different colors in a drop-down menu on our item. So I've already created a colors option that does that, and we'll go into more detail later in the video on how exactly we create that option, but this is where you select them. Before we move forward, I'm going to go ahead and create the item, and we'll see it in this drop-down menu. They're typically alphabetically arranged. And now we're going to go down and edit the inventory and SKUs. So before I explain SKUs, I'm going to explain the quantity of your item. Whenever you list your quantity, your site will automatically keep track of how many it sells, and it will remove the item from your storefront whenever your quantity is 0. So if I were to go to the front end of the website right now, this item wouldn't even be showing since the quantity is at 0. So if you don't want the site to keep track of your item, you can type in -1, which basically is the equivalent of infinity items, and your site won't keep track of that number, but the item will always stay up. And also, typically if your item is a physical good, you will need to click the available to ship box here, or else your item won't show up on the front end of the website. So now we're going to save the item and look at it on the front end. So when we click into the shirts category, we can see short sleeve t-shirt that we just added in. And whenever we click on it, you'll remember that I selected the colors option that I had created earlier, and so that gives us this drop down menu where people can select which color they want. And below colors we'll see the product SKU, and the SKU stands for stock keeping unit, and basically it's kind of an inventory number or a serial code type thing that we assign to each individual item, and even items with different options will have different SKUs. So just as an example, this way we could keep track in stock of just white shirts or just green shirts, and we can assign a SKU to each of those that will be attached to a quantity, and that way we're not just keeping track of t-shirts in general, and it would be more difficult without them to keep track of the quantities of your specific colors. And just to go back into the manager, we can go to the edit SKUs button and give each of these colors a code. And this is just a quick example. I'm just going to do red and blue and save it. And whenever I refresh this page, we'll be able to see that whenever I select red, it shows that SKU. SKUs will become more helpful whenever there are more options. So say for example we had colors and sizes, well then there would be several SKUs because we'd be keeping track of just large red shirts or just small green shirts, for example. On the front end of the website, we can go back into the shirts category, and on long sleeve shirts right now we have it set up to where there's multiple SKUs, and so I can click on small white shirt, and these are long sleeve shirts. So typically your SKUs will have some form of pattern to them, and so you'll see we have a small white long sleeve shirt. So I did LS shirt small white, and I can try black LS shirt small black. That's just one example of how you can pattern that sort of thing. So going back, we'll go to the inventory and SKUs again. We can see over here that you can keep track of the quantity for each individual value. So just for blue shirts we could keep track of that, or just for red shirts. And obviously if there were more options involved, we could do something like just for large blue shirts. And so that really helps you be able to keep track of very specific items. Now we're going to go over and learn how to create individual options for items. So just as a reminder, the options were right here, and we can select things like color and size and create multiple values for that. So to do that, we're going to go to the Options tab. I have created an option for colors and size. So I'm going to create another option for size just to show you how we do it. The label is the first thing we need to type in, and the label is what the browser will see on the front end of the website whenever they select the drop-down menu. And just to show you, over here, size is the label, and then they select the separate values thereafter. And so we'll label it size, and the description can be very basic, something like choose your size. And if you want to use this option for the SKUs and to help you track inventory, then you check that box. And now we'll add new values. So the values are the specific options you have for the label. So we'll do small, medium, and large. And so in this center section of the values, you'll see that you have the option to add or subtract a dollar or percentage amount of your price. So one example where you might want to do this is if you're selling different quantities of something, or if one type of an item costs more than the other to make, you would want to add more money to that value. You can also select a default value for your item, and so you don't have to, but if one item has a specific value that gets ordered most frequently, then it might make sense to choose that. So we're going to create the option, and now we'll go over to our items and we can add that to one of the items. So we had created the short sleeve shirt earlier, and we had added the color option, but this is just to show you that you can create options and add multiple options to any item. So now you can see that we have colors and sizes, and whenever I go up and save the item, I go down to SKUs, you'll see that there's a lot more options here because of the sheer combination of sizes and colors creates a lot more inventory numbers for us to keep track of. So lastly, we're going to go over the Orders tab. And in the Orders tab, you're going to be able to see everybody who's ordered from you, the date they ordered it, the total, and the order status. And just to give you an idea of the order, I'm going to go back to the front end of the store, and I'm going to add this to my cart and proceed to checkout. Here we're going to be able to put in our name, email, where we are, phone number, and other things of that nature. Your individual sites might have other characteristics in the form, but this is the gist of it, and so you're going to be able to find all those things in your Orders tab. And that's about it for this video. So hopefully now you'll be able to manage your store by creating categories and items and using the options in your items. And that's about it. Thanks for watching.